We did a pretty extensive search. We met with maybe over 10 agencies. And with each of them, the first thing we looked at was their portfolio, not just the screenshots of the sites, but we tried to go look at the actual sites themselves on mobile, on our computer, see the interactivity and really the quality. And that was the number one priority for us. So that narrowed it down to the 10 or so agencies that we then met with. And the next factor was the price and timing. Flowout stood out. Some of the agencies were quoting 2 or 3 times as much and much longer timelines. And I couldn't really see from the examples on their sites why it should take that much longer or cost that much more. It seemed like the examples from Flowout were just as good, if not better. Good quality, the timing of being able to do this inside of a month matched what I kind of had figured it should take, and the pricing was phenomenal. I also liked the ability to kind of continue working after the initial project on like an hourly basis, because that's how these projects go. You have an initial milestone you want to meet, but there's always ongoing work, and being able to be flexible with the team on just buying an hourly package to do 1 more feature or 2 more features after the project seemed like a good fit. Yeah. So the main project for us was a rebuild of our website, a rebuild as in like a new build from scratch, but we already had a website we could use as a reference. And this is for B2B SaaS for Shopify. So we came in with kind of a good idea of the content that we wanted, but we didn't know exactly on the design. We had a lot of references of things we liked, but that was open-ended on how we wanted it to look. I could tell from the process with Flowout that you guys are used to working with teams that have varying degree of knowing what they want or how they want it to look. And I liked that the process seems to kind of handle that well, like figuring out, okay, where is there uncertainty and how can we help you flesh that out and decide exactly what you want. I also felt like the designer adapted pretty well to understanding, okay, these guys know exactly what they want. They have some examples, and then having to figure out, okay, what is it about these examples that they like? How can I turn that into a custom design for them? I've worked with a lot of agencies on different projects over the years in my career, and I definitely think this was the smoothest that I've ever had. We got exactly what we wanted. It went very smoothly. It was very quick. We're very happy with the result. And I think that was the experience along the entire process, from the initial discovery phases through design, through development. Really, my whole team was just ecstatic the entire time, saying this is fantastic. So I would recommend it to anyone. There was the initial phase, we went through kind of documentation of what we were looking for. And this was pretty extensive. We had a long list of references of things we liked, of discussions about how we wanted things to work and what was our priority. And after we got the first design, you could tell that the team had really read through all of our requirements. There wasn't a single thing in there that wasn't accounted for. And I just think that that's really rare to find someone that thorough. So that was kind of our first experience, was like, wow, they really paid attention to every little detail that we provided. And you can see that they took care into implementing this into the initial exploration design. So that was kind of the first sign that we were like, wow, we're working with a great team, right? Then I think as we moved into the development phase, we saw the same level of quality, right? Things were being built very quickly, which I loved. And we were able to get access to the site as it was being built, which I know that can make things difficult. Sometimes it's easier to have a handoff phase, but we liked this because we were able to see it right away and give feedback. But things were being built very quickly, but also with a high degree of quality. Yeah. The tools are very helpful for keeping things organized. We're used to working async. I think it can be really helpful. So we primarily talked over Slack during the initial phases. We had Google Docs to organize some of the documentation that we provided. During development, we were able to see the staging site live. We used Figma for the designs, and that way we could have comments directly on the designs whenever we had feedback or questions. Then there was a tool called Markup that we used for feedback on development. It allowed us to put comments specifically on elements on mobile or on desktop. It took screenshots of what it looked like at that moment, like a snapshot in time. All these tools made it really easy to work across different time zones. I mean, the team was flexible when we did need to meet. There were only a few times, but when we needed to meet and get on a call, we were able to do that. So it wasn't a concern for me from the beginning, but if anyone does have the concerns, I would say don't worry about it. The tools made it very easy. I could see that, throughout the process, you could see that it was catered towards companies of any level of experience with software, or any level of clarity on what they wanted, right? If you're a team like us, we're very experienced in software development, and we had a pretty good idea of what we wanted, and the process worked well for us. Flowout was able to cater to our where we were on that spectrum, right? But I could see that, through the process, it was made for people who maybe don't have experience with web development or don't know exactly what they want. I think for those teams, it would work just as well. So I'd recommend Flowout for anyone trying to build something on Webflow.